Hello my Banda crew and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be another theory video. I think I've gotten all the pieces together and figured out the secret identity of the Spirit Guardians. If this is your first time coming to the channel, I release Crash Bandicoot content every weekend. We discuss lore, theories, news, we do interviews, tier lists, icebergs, pretty much anything and everything Crash Bandicoot related we cover here. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, maybe consider subscribing. Okay, so this theory is based off multiple games in the franchise. The Spirit Guardians were first introduced in Crash Bandicoot 4, but I'm going back to Wrath of Cortex, Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, and 3, and the newest entry in the franchise, Crash Team Rumble, to actually form this theory. So going forward, for this theory to make sense, I like you to go into my headcanon. I believe the masks have the ability to have two separate forms. One is a form where the mask just rests on your face and you borrow the power of the mask. Crash has never had the second form with Aku Aku. He's only had the first form where he borrows the power. When you gain 3 masks, Aku Aku actually goes onto your face and you are granted their power. As long as the mask is connected to you, you are borrowing their power. And then on the flip side, Crunch Bandicoot and Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex never had the first form. He only gained the second form, in which you are infused with the power. You aren't borrowing the power, you're actually fusing with the mask to gain its abilities. So you have the Rocco fight, in which Crunch transforms into the giant stone ball and he's rolling around the arena. Then you have the Wawa form, in which he transforms into a watery monster spirit. You have the Lolo form, which he fuses with Lolo and becomes a giant wind and lightning form. And you have the Pyro form, where he fuses with the Pyro mask and he becomes like this gargoyle with magma and fire. So there's the standard form, which you're borrowing the power and the mask just rests on your face. And then you have the actual fusion form, where you become one entity. So this leads us to Crash Bandicoot 4 and the Quantum Masks. You have Lonnie Loli, who you have the original form, which is just on Crash's face, and then you have the fusion form, where Crash gets armor. Yes, this is taken from the cutscene in Crash 4, where Crash just gets him stuck to his face, and it's not actually that form, but it was the best image representation I had of it. In Crash Team Rumble, when the ability is inactive, you can see that Lonnie Loli sits on Crash's face. But then when the ability is performed, he becomes invisible. So like I said, this was the best picture I got to show what I'm talking about. So we have Lonnie Loli in the standard form and the fusion form. We then have Kapunawa again in the standard form and then the fusion form. Akeno again, standard and fusion. And then lastly, we have Ika Ika in standard and in fusion. So all of the quantum masks have the ability to be standard forms and fusion forms. Aku Aku, I assume, also has the ability to do both, but he's never fused with Crash. He's only ever been the standard form. These are all good masks, but as you saw with the elementals, those are bad masks. So it's up in the air whether or not the good masks can possess Crash, but the bad masks can possess Crunch. Crunch was brainwashed by Cortex, and then the masks took control. They were a battery, you could say, that charged up Crunch. Whereas it seems that during these fusions with the good masks, Crash is in control. Future Tom here. I forgot to mention that in Crash of the Titans and Crash Mind Over Mutant, Aku Aku definitely 100% has the ability to possess the Titans. So not only do the bad masks have the ability to possess, the good ones do too. It just seems that none of them felt the need to do that other than Aku Aku in the Radical developed games. Okay, back to the video. But then we go back to the evil masks. We have Uka Uka, who I have not covered yet. In Crash Team Rumble, there is a power-up for Uka Uka, and as you can see, it is the base form. It isn't a fusion form. He goes on the player's face, and you get his abilities. He gets a portal around him, or not a portal, a shield around him, and he summons meteorites. Having said that, though, I believe that if Uka Uka stays on the person too long, he will possess them. So you only get him for a limited amount of time in Crash Team Rumble, but I believe if you have Uka Uka on for too long, he will possess you. And that is not just taken out of my headcanon. We've actually seen instances of this in Crash Bandicoot Warped. Let me play a clip for you.
Why must you continue to be a thorn in our side? What?
So you can see, it appears that Uka Uka was in control of Cortex. And there's another instance in Crash Bandicoot Warp where the same thing happens.
Insignificant morons! By defeating entropy, you have placed us all in grave risk! Crash, Coco, you must...
So as you can see, Uka Uka was possessing Cortex, and I think the evil masks have the ability to possess people as long as they're connected to them. So imagine if you're a fusion form with the evil masks, you will definitely get possessed. So that's all the background we have, and now I'm going to actually jump into the theory. Imagine that, we're like 7 minutes into the video, and I'm just now jumping into the theory. Now that we have all the background information, let me show you this. So this doesn't have an official name, but I'm going to be calling it the Spirit Guardian Mask. This is just the mask, it is not on anyone right now. But I'm going to show you there are two different forms. There is the standard, the basic, and then there is the fusion. So we're shown in the loading screen for N.Sanity Caverns that you can have the mask on. That is the standard form. And it looks like it's been on a little too long because it looks like she might be getting taken over. The eyes are glowing and she's screaming. But that's just headcanon. So you have the standard form of the character or the player wearing the mask, and then you have the complete fusion in which the mask becomes part of you and you become one solid color. So you have the base form and you have the fusion form. So the base form, like I said, headcanon, has the capacity for mind control. So now we're going to jump into the Spirit Guardian itself. So going by my headcanon, the Spirit Guardian mask has a fusion form, and the fusion, you become one solid color. So that would mean that the only way we could get the Spirit Guardian character to look the way he is, a floating ghost character that's one color with a black mask, would mean that the character who's wearing the mask has to resemble the Spirit Guardians. I think that character is none other than Grimly from Crash Mind Over Mutant. Not only does he visually look like the Spirit Guardian, he actually has basis to be a quantum creature, if that makes any sense to you. So, let's say they grab a whole bunch of Spirit Guardian masks, the Ancients, and they put these masks on Grimly's to create their Spirit Guardians. Grimly not only has the power to stop time, like Kapunawa, a quantum mask, his charge-up attack shot looks an awful lot like Akanu's. He spins around with a purple glow, and he fires off his blast. So he has gravity powers, he has dark matter powers, and he also has the power to float like Ika Ika. The only quantum power he does not seem to possess is the power to travel between dimensions. So he can't become invisible. But he can have dark matter, he can slow down time, and he can float. So I think Grimleys were actually quantum creatures from a millennia ago. And they took the Spirit Guardian masks, put them on the Grimleys, and created Spirit Guardians. So, my Bandit crew, that is the theory. I believe that the Spirit Guardians are actually possessed Grimleys. And Grimleys, I also think, are related to the quantum powers. So I believe they're quantum creatures that have been mind-controlled with the Spirit Guardian masks by the Ancients to become Spirit Guardians. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked my theories of the base forms and the fusion forms. And we will see you in the next video. Take care.